Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Thriving Adoptees podcast. Today, just me again. Yeah, I am doing some. I am doing an interview this afternoon. So, if you're, if you're wondering where all the guests have gone, there's going to be one for you. There's going to be a podcast with a guest tomorrow. Lisa Quates is coming on. Today, I thought I would talk about something practical. I was thinking about what I can do. Always thinking about what I can do to improve the podcast, develop it, move it on. And it struck me that just having a look around at what questions that people ask, they're often looking for answers to practical questions, such as, how do I stop people pleasing? How do I stop people pleasing? Now, first thing that came on, so the first thing that came to my mind thinking about this was, is people pleasing actually a bad thing? Right? Getting on with others, meeting their needs, understanding their needs first, having empathy for them. And it struck me that there's a fine line, isn't there? There's a fine line between getting on with people and being a people pleaser. A people pleaser is kind of identifying who we are with something that we do. And that's kind of fraught with challenges, really, isn't it? Am I a people pleaser, or is people pleasing something that I occasionally do? So is this about who we are, or is this about something that we sometimes do? And where do we draw the line between what is natural in relationships and what is not natural? We're going over the top. We're going over the top. So that's the first question I'd like you I'd suggest that you continue. You consider where's the line between getting on with people and doing more than we actually want for those people. The next thing about the how questions: how do I stop people pleasing? Well, the how question always brings in our brain, right? And we start coming up with answers to the how question. How does any change happen? How does any change happen in our behavior? And it happens through an insight. That's how it happens. It happens through an insight. So when we see better, we do better. Once we know a new way to work, so say, assuming that we're commuting to work, right, and it's taking us 25 minutes, and we find a new way. That's only 15 minutes. How much effort do we need to put in to driving that new way to work? We don't have to put any effort into. We do it naturally, unless we forget, right? Unless we forget. So what we're trying to do with when we're revving up the brain, right? The how-to questions revving up the brain. Sometimes that can keep us that revving up of the brain can keep us stuck in the mud. We're not we're not going to go anywhere. We're overthinking. We're overthinking. We're trying to overthink our way out of a challenge, rather than letting everything settle down, putting things on the back burner. So on holiday, I sometimes read Lee Child books. It's about this ex-military policeman, Jack Reacher, and it's always the same. It's always the same story, but and that's why we love it. It's the habit, right? We're into the habit. We're into familiar territory. We know what the story is going to be. It's just a slightly different take on that story. Anyway, what he does is if he's got a problem, he says, I put that to the back of my mind. I let the wisdom basically saying he sleeps on a problem. So we can sleep on a problem. We have a problem. We have a problem with a question that we want an answer for, and he says he puts it on the back, the question on the back burner, and then he wakes up in the morning and miraculously he's got a solution. And that's how insights work. Insights come to us out of the blue, and if they've got enough oomph behind them, if they're big enough insights, if they've got enough oomph, if they've got enough depth, then we change our behavior naturally, like we do this shortcut when we stumble upon it and we think, well, why am I wasting 10 minutes driving to work, 10 minutes driving coming back from work? So I can get 20 minutes a day back. That's 20 times 5. That's 100 minutes a week. What's that? 400 minutes a year, 400 minutes a month, 4,800 minutes a year, roughly. How do we stop people pleasing when we see that it's not a good idea to do it anymore? That's the answer. When the reason to stop it overcomes the reason to keep doing it. So how to stop people pleasing? Is it a bad thing? Where's the line between it being a good thing and a bad thing? What questions can I ask myself? What questions can I put on the back burner so that I can stop people pleasing? And we can go a bit deeper again on this. How do we stop people pleasing? Well, how do we stop people pleasing is when we're more content in our own skin. So if we're content with our own being, if we're living from a place of higher self-esteem, then we are happier in ourselves, we're happier with ourselves, then we're less reliant on others. So for me, the ultimate way that we stop people pleasing is by seeing that essence of who we truly are. The clearer we can see the diamond that's the diamond that's hidden, that's veiled by the trauma. So my metaphor for this, I don't know if you've heard this one, we talked about this before. I talk about the clenched fist as a metaphor for trauma, and unfurling the fingers of the clenched fist reveals the diamond, the essence of who we truly are, the perfection, our sparkling sense of self, the value that we have, the value that we just need to see rather than build. We don't need to build our self-esteem. We need to see the essence of ourselves as beautiful perfect with our imperfections, sparkling, brilliant, effervescent, shiny, beautiful, lovely, lovable. Seeing that, the more we can, the more we can see our inherent, innate sense of worth that's already with us, has always been with us, and will not be changed by anything that happens to us. The deeper we can see our brilliance, then the less we're likely to look at others for their what would you say, for their high regard. We're comfortable in our own skins. We don't need the kind of like the slap on the back. We don't need the congratulations. We don't need the approval. We don't need the approval of others. No amount of approval from others is ever going to make us see our own worth for ourselves. We have to see this stuff for ourselves. I say this all the time. I love it. There's no such thing as a second-hand insight. We have to see our worth for ourselves. And when we see our own worth for ourselves, then we will look less for that outside. When we see that approval from the world outside isn't going to give us the self-esteem that we want on the inside, then we'll stop doing it, right? We stop following the false path, the wrong path. We stop following the wrong path when we see the right path, and the right, and this is the path without a path, right? This is, you don't need to do anything to be yourself. You don't need to become better. You are already inherently, innately, essentially perfect, just as you are. Seeing your own perfection means you look less for it from other people. I hope that helps. Speak to you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.